Do you still have no idea what a 3D printer is and you want to know a little bit more about how they work and some of the really cool things that we've done with them? Then you're going to want to watch this episode right now. Hey! I'm Jester from Jester's 3D Tabletop Gaming, where I cover Dungeons & Dragons, tabletop gaming, board games, and 3D printing, and I combine them together to cover the gloriousness that is this hobby. So if that interests you, maybe think about hitting that subscribe button. Anyhow, let's get into today's topic. 3D printing is the process of creating a three-dimensional object from a digital file. The process is known as additive process, or Fused Deposition Modeling, or FDM for short. A 3D printer uses the X, Y, and Z axis to move freely in a three-dimensional space. Then it uses a heated nozzle to process a varying degree of materials such as plastics, metals, and even food. It does this by printing layer after layer, laying down the material and then quickly hardening the material as it's spread until ultimately all of the layers have been complete and you have yourself a really ridiculously cool model. Did you know that the first 3D printer was created in the 1980s by Charles W. Hull? Hull was using the stereolithography technique, or SLA for short. It's done so by using a photochemical process where light causes chemical monomers to link together to form polymers. We have Charles to thank for where we are with 3D printing in this day and age. After all, he was the first one to patent this. Flash forward 33 years and we have made leaps and bounds with 3D printing. E-Nable is a company that has been making prosthetic hands for those in need. Can you imagine losing a limb and being able to 3D print yourself a new one? Because that's what they're doing, and they are helping out a ton of people. It's an incredible feat and one that we should be proud of. It helps bring hope to those in need. And you can't beat the fact that researchers have designed a tiny heart the size of a grape made from human cells. The heart is not fully functional yet, but Professor Tal Dever states this was the first time anyone has successfully engineered and printed an entire heart replete with cells, blood vessels, ventricles, and chambers. End quote. Just imagine a future where organs could just be easily printed. Space travel? Yeah, there's a printer for that. The company Relativity is currently working on being able to design rockets in as few parts as possible. The typical rocket is designed with about 100,000 components. These guys are trying to do it in 1,000 or less, which is pretty nuts. And to top it off, they're trying to do it in 60 days. That is nuts. 2021 is going to be their first official commercial launch, so we have to look up to the sky for that because we don't want to miss it, because that is going to be epic. Space travel, here we come! Oh boy. There's even 3D printed houses out there, and that's amazing. One guy took it upon himself to 3D print himself a castle for his backyard. He essentially looked at the design for a 3D printer and then built one that was able to lay down concrete. And then he 3D printed a castle for his backyard. What man doesn't want a castle in their backyard? I don't know who. You'd be crazy if you didn't want it. A lot of companies like to be able to have a 3D printer on hand these days because it allows you to easily go from designing something to being able to have a 3D printed prototype within your hand, something tangible that you can grab, so you can see where you need to go, what adjustments need to be made. 3D printing is taking over the world, and it's so cool, and we gotta be there for this. So there you have it. That's 3D printing in a nutshell, and some of the really cool things that they've done. There's so much more accomplishments that we have done with 3D printing. These are just a few. If you know of any more, I want to know about them in the comments below. Let me know your coolest milestone that you've heard about for 3D printing. And if you're interested in picking up a 3D printer, maybe especially for the hobby side of things, then you're going to want to check out this video here or there somewhere. And on my channel, I'm going to be mostly specializing, like I said, in 3D printing for tabletop gaming. So if you're a gamer, a tabletop gamer, you might want to hit that subscribe button. Stick around with me. We're going to have a good time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, have a share. It really helps me out. Anyhow, I'm Jester in Glass. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. Until the next time, bye-bye.